low and moderate income persons. The hearing will provide further information about the CDBG program and will allow for citizen participation in the development of any proposed grant applications and or to provide technical assistance to develop alternate proposals. Comments on the CDBG program or proposed projects will be received at this time. Hearing is being conducted pursuant to federal law. And then there's a paragraph that the Board of Legislators chamber is accessible to people with disabilities. If special accommodations are needed, individuals should contact me. Nobody did. Written comments may be submitted to Jason Fotenhauer, Director of Planning, St. Lawrence County Planning Office, 48 Court Street, Canton, New York, 13617, until April 7th, 2021. This was published in the Watertown Daily Times on Saturday, March the 27th. I'm going to apologize in advance. A lot of what I'm going to tell you tonight is rote. It is exactly what I am required to tell you. And I will try to not just read a 4-page memo. But if I can share my screen, let's see. All right, let me make this bigger. Oh, wait. Sorry. I'm going to try that again. Share my screen. There we are. All right, you can all see my screen. It is the front page of the county's website. And of course, as we all know, the web address is stlawco.org. If you go to find your department and then go to find the planning office, you get to the planning office's homepage, at the bottom of which is information for public hearing for today. And that's what I'm going to talk about. Let me make this as big as I can so that it is as clear as possible. Now, those of you who are in the board chamber likely already have a copy of this. But for those who are not in the board chamber, you can go to the county's website, go to the planning office's website, and download a copy of this. Especially if you're looking to make comments by Wednesday, I recommend that you do that. Anyways, the introduction is basically the same information that was in the legal notice. It does say that the New York State CDBG program provides assistance to eligible cities, towns, and villages with populations of less than 50,000 persons and to counties with an area population under 200,000 persons. This allows smaller communities. This is a separate pool of CDBG funds that allows smaller communities in New York State to compete. We're not competing with Rochester and Syracuse and New York City. All right, applicants to CDBG programs must ensure that 70% of all activities benefit low and moderate income persons. And I'll explain later what that means. But next paragraph, on February 10th of this year, New York State Homes and Community Renewal Housing Trust Fund Corporation announced the availability of $10 million for New York State Community Development Block Grant funding for housing activities. Housing activities may include rehabilitation of housing units, home ownership, manufactured housing replacement, well and septic replacement, and lateral connection assistance. Beneficiaries of these funds must be primarily LMI persons. And as we saw above, 70% of all activities must principally benefit low and moderate income persons. The handout includes a couple of websites. The application has to be done online. There's the link to the online. Further information about the CDBG program can be found at the next link. All right, the estimated amount of CDBG funds proposed for activities that benefit LMI objectives. All CDBG activities must meet a national objective, and that is to provide benefit to persons with low and moderate income. And again, that's defined as household income at or below 80% of the county median household income, which I'll get into detail about later. In order to reach a national objective, you have to provide an area benefit or you must provide a direct benefit to exclusively serve LMI persons, or you must provide a limited clientele benefit that provides assistance to person presumed by HUD to be low, moderate income. These would be children, elderly persons, battered spouses, homeless persons, disabled persons, and others. They are all presumed by HUD to be principally low and moderate income. So if we were working on a senior citizen center, and it was to be used exclusively by senior citizens, I wouldn't have to worry about what their incomes are. They would be presumed to be low and moderate income. Funding limits for this year include towns and villages and cities may apply for a maximum of 500,000. Counties may apply for a maximum of $1 million. Now, our proposal, we propose to ask for $600,000 in CDBG funding to help 15 low and moderate income households purchase their own home, their first home, excuse me. The county has been running a direct home ownership assistance program since 1992. We've done 23 rounds of it. This would be the 24th round of our DHAP, we call it, Direct Home Ownership Assistance Program. All right, based on actual expenses of our almost completed DHAP 23, the county anticipates each participating household will receive grants for approximately $33,000 per housing unit to pay for mortgage buy down, closing cost assistance, and then repairs to the home to bring it to a standard condition. We will exclusively serve low and moderate income people. We anticipate an overall direct benefit to low and moderate income people of more than 90%. Remember, we're required to hit at least 70%. We're proposing to do 90%. We will distribute these funds to clients on a countywide basis because this allows DHAP to be flexible enough to provide assistance where the demand for home ownership assistance is high and to have access to an adequate pool of eligible homes for participants to consider. And again, we have operated a DHAP program since 1992 and have assisted over 620 households to purchase their first homes. And DHAP clients have purchased homes in 41 of the county's 46 municipalities. Eligibility requirements. A household may be eligible to participate if they earn less than 80% of the county's median household income. And again, I'll get to that number. If they have never purchased a home, and if they can satisfy debt to income underwriting limits of participating lenders. They must also do an introductory interview and application process and a comprehensive home buyer training program in order to receive assistance. And the comprehensive home buyer training is a special feature of this program that other programs across the state are usually not able to say that they do. And that's a very strong selling point for this program. Eligible applicants then select a unit that they can afford in a price range from $30,000 to $95,000. Units requiring repair may be purchased. The average repair cost is anticipated to be between $12,000 and $18,000. If anybody is interested in participating in this program, they should call the county planning office at 315-379-2292 to be placed on the program's waiting list. We currently have over 100 qualified applicants on the waiting list, but that should not deter anyone from expressing interest in calling the planning office. There is a prioritization process that might very easily bump your household, at or near the top of the list. So the project timeline, application deadline is this Friday. The grant award is anticipated to be made in mid-summer. Program startup usually commences within 90 days of the grant award, and we have 2 years to complete the project. Now, the next paragraph is standard boilerplate. It says that we have an anti-displacement and relocation plan. If we must displace people for any reason, we will house them during the time that they are displaced. Technical assistance is also available. As an applicant for CDBG funds, we are committed to provide technical assistance to groups representative of persons of LMI, low moderate income, that request assistance in developing proposals in accordance with procedures developed by the state. Such assistance does not include providing funding to such groups. So if there's anybody who's listening to this who says, I have what I think is a good idea for a community development project, call us. We will work with you. You're likely not going to be able to put in an application by this Friday, but we can work with you so that you're ready for the next round of funding. Fair housing statement, I am going to read in its entirety. The County of St. Lawrence is an equal opportunity housing provider. The county and its subrecipients do not discriminate against applicants for housing assistance based on their race, color, religion, national origin, age, gender, familial status, or disability. Finally, written comments to this proposed application may be submitted by mail or by email to Jason Fotenauer at the address listed there. And Jason's email is given there. Now, the $64,000 question, what are the income limits? For 2029, let's go to this first, let's go to this first column. If you're a household of one, you can see that there are 3 levels. There's very low income, there's extremely low income, and then there's low income. I suggest don't worry about those words. What's important is if you are a single person in your household, and I'm sorry. If your annual income is less than $38,850, you may qualify under this program according to your income. Let's move over here to 4 people in the household. If you have 4 people in your household and your income is below $55,500, you qualify by income for this program. And as I scroll over, you'll see, depending on the family size, if you have 8 people, it goes to $73,000. And if you have more people, we add, it tells me somewhere to add $2,400 per person or $4,000 per person, whatever. Whatever your housing, your family, your household size is, we can determine whether or not you qualify by income. The income level is determined by HUD. They did a survey of in St. Lawrence County, and they determined that the median family income is $65,900. And using that as a base number, they determined what 80% of the county's median household income for the household size. And that concludes my presentation. I am willing to take questions if anyone has some.
Go ahead, Mr. Akers.
John, you mentioned the $33,000. Do we end up having a lien on the home, or are there parameters for that individual? Can the individual resell the home, say, in 6 months, a year, 2 years, or anything of that nature?
We do put a note and mortgage against the home. The note and mortgage dissolves over time. Excuse me. The way this particular grant is written, after 5 years, the homeowner would owe us nothing. But in that time frame, if the homeowner were to sell the house over the 5 years, the percentage of the amount of note and mortgage decreases by 20% per year. So if in year 3, the person who bought the house with our help wants to sell the house, they will have they'll get 20 plus 20% off that total note and mortgage. So they'll get 40% off. So if they owed us what, 40,000, I can't do math in my head, but they get 40% off of what our note and mortgage. In the meantime, they will have qualified for conventional lending, and they'll be paying a regular mortgage to Community Bank or Messina Savings and Loan or one of the conventional lenders in the county. That's another one of the key features of this program. By providing the down payment assistance, we leverage these people into a position where they can get conventional financing.
Okay, that's excellent. The follow-up question I have is, you mentioned the $12,000 to $18,000 in repairs. Is that in addition to the 33,000, John?
No, the average average down payment and closing cost assistance is a little bit more than $16,000. The average rehab comes to $16,600 for a total assistance package of $33,086. This is based on our actual experience with the current DHAP that we're operating right now, DHAP 23. So the average total assistance is $33,000. What we're saying is, if assistance were to go much higher than that, we would need to look at the project to approve it.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Anyone else? Any more questions of John? Okay, thank you, John.
Yes, I'd just like to repeat, comments will be accepted by our office until close of business on Wednesday. Wednesday is April the 7th.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Does anyone wish to comment from the public? If there was, someone would be coming in from the hallway. You can hear me out there correctly?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't look like we have any comments from the public, so we will now declare this public hearing closed. Thank you, John.
Good night, all.
Right into the net.
We ready for the next public? Call the next public meeting to order. We'll have the clerk read the call to the public hearing.
This is hereby given by the Chair of the St. Lawrence County Board of Legislators, that the Chair and the members of the Board of Legislators of the County of St. Lawrence will meet at the Board of Legislators Chambers Courthouse located at 48 Court Street, Canton, New York, at 5:45 on Monday, April 5th, 2021, for the purpose of conducting a public hearing regarding proposed local law A for the year 2021, a local law reestablishing the St. Lawrence County multi-use recreational trail system and establishing a trail permitting process. Further notice is hereby given that copies of the proposed local law in its entirety are available on the St. Lawrence County website at www.stlawco.org or at the office of the Clerk of the Board of Legislators at Canton, New York, where they may be inspected or procured by any interested person during business hours.
Is there anyone that wishes to comment?
I think you have a list.
Okay, I thought I was talking from the legislature first. No comment from the legislature. Okay, we do have some people in the hallway that do want to comment. Stephen Wilson, would you come to the podium, please? Any citizen wanting to address the board is asked to stand at the microphone at the time that they address the board, and the address will be limited to 5 minutes. And before you begin your address, please state your name.
Hi, I'm Stephen Wilson from Brazier. I just wanted to say I agree with the trail permit. I think it's a great thing. When I read over the legislation, the only thing I saw that bothered me a little was the 1,000-pound weight limit. I mean, I understand the state, their infinite wisdom hasn't caught up to the times, but my worry was you're gonna alienate 90% of the people that ride. If you ride the trails now, you'll see it's almost all side-by-sides. Gets families out there. Steuben County, Allegheny County, and Lewis County, all, I don't know how they did it, but they all have a 2,000-pound weight limit. Their big thing is the width, which is a good idea. Go up to, I believe they're all 70-inch width. That way you can have 2 machines pass. Other than that, I'm good with the permit, just the weight limit thing. People just don't have machines that weigh 1,000 pounds anymore. They're all over that. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Stephen Williams.
Stephen Williams, pretty much the same as that gentleman there in the weight limit is kind of ridiculous. What weighs more, a log skidder, a horse? It's just the trails need to be ridden by people that are gonna go out and enjoy them, and stop at these stores and stop at gas stations and stuff like that. We all want to enjoy ourselves. I'm disabled, I broke my neck, and with this law, I can't ride. I bought a machine to sit in the garage. I didn't know it. Dealership never told me back in 2015. Never told me I had to do any of that. And now my other machines were all registered. I was able to ride a regular four-wheeler, but now I can't ride a regular four-wheeler. And I bought that machine to go out and enjoy it. And now I can't. I just wish they'd look into raising that limit up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Rita Clark.
Hi, I'm Rita Clark from Russell, and pretty much the same as everybody else. The weight limit is just not where it should be. I mean, we have a lot of UTV riders that would love to be able to use these trails. And as Steve said, you got a skidder that's been using these trails. They weigh a heck of a lot more than a regular UTV. I cannot ride an ATV. I have back problems, I have knee problems, so I have to use a side-by-side. I'm classified as being handicapped, so I can't get out and enjoy the weather, the scenery, like everybody else can. And it's not fair to us or the people who are handicapped. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Linda Bale. I think I'm pronouncing the last name correctly. Linda?
Linda Page.
Page.
Thank you. Dear Mr. Perkins and County Board of Legislators, my name is Linda Page. Thank you for providing me the opportunity to comment on proposed local law A. For the year 2021, reestablishing the St. Lawrence County multi-use recreational trail system and establishing a trail permitting process. I support the county multi-use trail system and hope for its continued growth and success. I live alongside a popular section of the trail on Sheldon Road in the town of Hopkinton. The trail was originally a New York State DEC truck trail through the Fort Jackson State Forest when I began living at this location 33 years ago. During this time, I have witnessed all types of trail use behavior, ranging from rule following and courteous to dangerously high-speed trick riding with complete disregard for any rules or human life. I request the board increase and improve public education and safety training regarding proper trail use. I also request the board create a formal process that gives trailside residents real-time recourse to report improper trail riding behavior and other concerns. Currently, there are very limited, mostly non-existent resources available for trailside residents to seek relief from abusive trail use behavior. The environmental impact of the current trail system should be reviewed prior to expansion of the trail system. I witnessed excessive noise, exhaust fumes, dust, fuel, and other fluid leakage along the section of the trail I live next to. A hydrocarbon haze, sometimes combined with a dust cloud, can linger around my home for up to 20 minutes or more after a group of machines have traveled by. Large groups of machines, sometimes over 20, even 50, traveling together create a lot of noise, dust, and fumes. There should be a limit established for the number of machines that can travel together. Noise threshold limits should also be established for the trail. Excessively loud engine and exhaust systems are incompatible for residential areas nor wildlife. The Board of Legislators should acquire a more detailed understanding of trail use behavior. Who is using the trail? What purpose does the trail serve the user? My many years of trailside observation allows me to conclude there seems to be a relationship between the demographic profile of the trail user and the trail user's behavior. Is the trail being used simply as a roadway to pass through on a journey toward a distant destination? Is the trail itself the user's destination? Users on a journey usually maintain a high rate of speed as they pass by. Users not on a long journey utilize the local trail section more intensely, riding back and forth repeatedly, sometimes performing trick riding, sometimes in aggressive pack-like groups. Intense localized trail use creates prolonged loud noise and increased environmental impacts, especially on loop trails. Loop trails seem to encourage mud bogging and motocross style behavior. Expansion of the trail system onto county reforestation land will increase loop trail use. Public educational and safety training programs and materials targeting specific trail user demographic profiles should be developed and implemented to promote proper and safe trail use. The proposed local law describes only ATV use of county reforestation land. Will snowmobiles be allowed? Prohibited? Motorized trail use completely changes the nature of the trail experience. Most non-motorized trail use is non-compatible with motorized trail use. Allowing motorized use on county reforestation land will reduce or eliminate the opportunity to experience quiet and natural sound in these places. Larger machines will require wider and harder trail surfaces. This will cause an increase in the rate of speed and increased noise levels within reforestation land. Thank you for your consideration of my concerns. It is my hope you will implement programs and procedures to implement improvements to the trail system. Thank you.
Thank you. Sue Race.
Good evening, my name is Sue Rao. I live in the town of Norfolk, and I have concerns. The original trail was advertised as a multi-use trail for horses, hikers, skiers and snowshoers, as well as motorized vehicles like snowmobiles and ATVs. A set of rules for all these groups were developed, posted on the internet, and can currently be accessed on the internet. I read the proposed new law, and it only mentions ATVs. I feel that everyone should be allowed to use these new trails. I hope that the intent of the new law is to be inclusive, and that the legislature will make that intention clear in the new law. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Francis Carville.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to speak to you, the legislature, tonight. I'm from Messina, New York, and I belong to the Parishville ATV Club. I just joined again 3 years ago. I used to belong back in the late 90s, but at that time, where you could drive an ATV was very limited within the county. So for many years, I didn't have an ATV. But talking with the legislator, Tony Arquette, who's in my district, I fully support what the county is trying to do with this trail system. $45 a year is pennies really for most people that I've talked to. They have no concern or no problem with paying that amount for a year to have a place to use the ATVs. One thing that a lot of people would like, and I think right now when I ride, probably it's getting close to 50-50 between ATVs and UTVs. So if UTVs could be included in this as soon as possible, because I myself would like to buy one, and I did a few years back, but I ended up giving it to my son-in-law because I had no place to drive it. But if I had a place to drive it, I would, buy another one. And I think the state at this time is missing out big time on taxes, because if you buy an ATV, every time it's sold afterwards, there's tax generated. Well, the UTV, they only generate tax the first time it's sold, because you can't register anything else. Who pays the sales tax on the second time that they buy it? So, and I heard that there's problems or whatever, but I know for a fact when went to the when Senator Albertine was in office many years ago, they held different sessions at different places, and the talk then was that ATVs cause a lot of damage. Well, ATV clubs are usually the ones that fix that damage, and they do a lot of work on the trails. It's just like out here on County or State Highway 11. If you don't do any maintenance on it, after 10 years, you're not going to drive your car up and down that road. There's going to be potholes in it big enough to lose a vehicle. So it's like anything else, it needs maintenance on it. And I think with this trail system, hopefully, that's what will generate enough through the fee to help with the maintenance. And so I'm definitely in favor of this right now as far as establishing a fee or whatever for four-wheelers. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Francis. John Carberry.
Hello, I'm John Carberry. I'm from Pierpont. I would like to say thank you, Debbie, for the work she did. It's unbelievable how much work she did. And I do agree with the trail fee. It's only fair. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak to the trails public hearing? Ms. Diaco?
Yeah, I was approached by a local.
Could I interrupt you for a second?
Yes.
There was someone else from the public that wanted to talk, but she just came in. I'll get you in later, okay? Legislator Diaco? Go ahead. Okay, go.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for listening to us tonight. I'm Janice Lutz. My husband and I owned Fun Unlimited for many years. We sold it a few years ago. We sell ATVs, Rangers, Generals, side-by-sides, the whole works. And I can tell you that those side-by-sides are probably 75% of our sales over ATVs. Those people want to get out with their families, their friends, they want to go ride. I think the $45 fee would be easily payable by any of them. They would in fact pay more than that to get out on these trails. And I don't understand why we're not copying what Lewis County did. I emailed everybody and asked if maybe why we weren't putting that paragraph in there. I don't know if I can get an answer tonight or if that's something that I'll get emailed later on.
Maybe Mr. Arquette will talk about that later on. He's the chair of that committee, and are you going to be around for questions or after the other people finish talking?
Sure.
Okay. He'll give you an answer on that if you wait.
Okay, that'll be good. I'm just interested in this trail going through and being able to use it just like Lewis County is doing. I think it would be great for our county in New York State. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that's not on the list who would like to talk on the public trails? There's no one else on the list, but we want to show a video before we have the legislators speak. Is that okay with the group? Go ahead with the video.
Another public comment.
There's another public comment?
This is the public.
Oh, this is the public comment part, okay.
Hi, good afternoon or good evening. I'm Kathy Collier. I'm the Director of Advocacy for the Adirondack Mountain Club, and I really appreciate the opportunity to submit this video comment. And we have about and we're here to talk about local law, reestablishing the St. Lawrence County Trail System and establishing the St. Lawrence County Trail permitting process. We're concerned that this proposed local law ignores Attorney General Opinion 2005-21. This opinion addresses Vehicle and Traffic Law 2405, which governs the designation of highways and public lands for ATV use. Vehicle and Traffic Law 2405 permits a government agency by local law or ordinance to designate portions of a public highway under its jurisdiction open for ATV travel if ATVs cannot otherwise access areas or trails adjacent to the highway. However, the 2005-21 Attorney General opinion concludes that town highways may not be considered trails for the purposes of Vehicle and Traffic Law 2405, as this would be contrary to the state legislature's intent to confine ATV use primarily to off-highway pathways. We are concerned that the proposed local law, through Section 9, interconnecting public highways, would allow public highways to be considered part of the trail system, which clearly is not the intent of Vehicle and Traffic Law 2405, and would encourage activities that are contrary to state law and to the New York State Attorney General opinion. Given that ATV manufacturers and the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission warn that ATVs are not designed for road or highway use, and that it is dangerous to ride them on paved or hardened roadways, we are also concerned that the proposed law would encourage activities that are proven to result in injury and fatalities. So thank you so much for considering these concerns and for allowing us to make this comment on your proposed local law. Thank you very much.
That the video. Tony, I think I'll give you the opportunity to answer the question of the someone from the public just asked before I get to Ms. Fiacco, so she can go home if she'd like. Go ahead.
Thank you,
Go
Chairman.
ahead.
First and foremost, I'd like to add that when this resolution was brought before the Finance Committee, that we supported it, and the discussion indicated that when this local law would come before the full board this evening, I would be moving to table. That is because that we realized at the onset when we brought this forward with it, which is no secret, it duplicates a lot of the language within Lewis County that's been successful since 2019. We certainly anticipate including all user groups when we finish off this document. If indeed we're able to table it this evening, we plan on taking in all of the public comments that we're hearing to incorporate that if it fits the St. Lawrence County model. But most importantly, we recognize the depth of the UTV usership in this county. It's absolutely necessary, I believe, to make this work. So again, what our intention is to table this resolution this evening, go back in, take a look at the language, and make it fit St. Lawrence County. But really, the ultimate goal here is to increase the overall mileage. Where we want to serve to make the trail sustainable. So with the trail fees, we should be able to create some funding to work with private landowners to make sure that that there's a long-term commitment to the trail system for its sustainability. And most importantly, again, we want to increase the usership by allowing some of the very popular motorized recreational vehicles that are out there right now to permit on our trail system. And the one concern of one of the speakers was that whether or not the trail would include all user groups in it. It absolutely will. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Tony. Legislator Fiacco, you were next in line.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm all set now. I was just going to reference Janet's email that she sent to all of us about that it's a family sport now.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, no more further comment. Public hearing is closed.
I think we're good.
I'd like to call to order the April 5th, 2021 board meeting. Can I get a motion to suspend the rules of procedure to allow the attendance of legislators telephonically? Motion made by Rita Kern, seconded by Mr. Akers. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, Kelly, you have the roll call?
Reagan,
Here.
Forsythe,
Here.
Lightfoot,
Here.
Sheridan,
Here.
Smithers,
Here.
Denisha,
Here.
Perkins,
Here.
Akers,
Here.
Hay,
Here.
Haggard,
Here.
Yaco,
Here.
Burt,
Here.
Arquette,
Here.
Terminelli.
Here.
Kern,
Here.
15 present.
Thank you. Legislator Denisha, would you lead us in prayer?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Follow the pledge of allegiance.
Dear Heavenly Father, we ask that you help us to use this newly revived springtime season to revive newness in our hearts, our homes, and our lives. Help us to be more thoughtful, considerate, and generous. While we live our day-to-day lives, remind us of the beauty of spring and what new beginnings truly mean. Present us with situations where we can support one another, and grant us the insight to show compassion. Grant us the wisdom to make the best decisions during our deliberations and the courage to stand behind them. When our evening work is complete, please guide us on our journeys home and grant us all a safe return. For all these things, we ask your blessing through Jesus Christ, your Son, in whose name all things are possible. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, motion for the approval of the agenda, please. Got a motion by Kern, Smithers seconds. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Okay, another motion for approval of the minutes for the March 1st school board and March 8th special board meeting. We have a motion by Mr. Denisha, seconded by Ms. Kern. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Next, we have a let's see. We have a recognition ceremony, and to keep with the social distancing, attendees and guests will be asked to remain in the lobby until they're called into the board chambers. Upon entering, the attendee shall stand in front of the room and their guests can be seated to the right in the designated area. Masks are recommended to be worn in the courthouse. And I'd like to call on Legislator Perkins to give the welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On behalf of the Board of Legislators, I would like to welcome our honoree guests and their families to the recognition ceremony. We are here to celebrate and recognize courageous acts of bravery of those first responders who went above and beyond on the night of January 24th, 2021. And with no regard for their own safety, entering a burning structure fire in the town of Pierpont to rescue those trapped inside. Fire responders have many brave challenges throughout their careers, so the rest of us may stay safe. With them, it becomes almost automatic. They have a job to do, and they just do it. Today, we are here to honor 11 of St. Lawrence County's finest for their hard work and dedication to the residents of St. Lawrence County. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Perkins. Our hearts go out to the Gollinger family for their tragic loss. At this time, we'll have a moment of silence honoring Ricky Gollinger and Lena Gollinger lost their lives on that sad day in January. Thank you. Sheriff Brooks, headboard.
Thank you. I want to thank the board for allowing us to have the ceremony for first responders tonight. I'd also like to thank all the men and women of law enforcement, rescue, fire, and dispatch. I recognize your daily sacrifices and acts of bravery. Tonight, I would like to recognize Deputy Greg Anderson, who is here with his wife, Jessica, and his two lovely little kids here, Layton and Brooklyn. They don't get any cuter than that. Rob Gollinger, the son of victims, Lena and Rick, wanted to be here tonight. He's a CO and his shift got switched. He ended up being here, but he's a friend of mine, fellow referee, fellow umpire, and he wanted to send around his regards to everybody and is so proud of first responders of this county. I read this quote a couple weeks ago from John Barrage, 18th century writer. Bravery is not only absence of fear, but action in the face of fear. Deputy Anderson responded with other first responders to reported house fire with entrapment on County 24 in the town of Pierpont. Deputy Anderson arrived on the scene. He reached into a smoke-filled room from a window to rescue Lena and Rick Gollinger, and then rendered medical attention to both of them when they were removed from the house. Both Mr. and Mrs. Gollinger were transported and received further treatment at the hospital. Later, both tragically died from their injuries. Our hearts and prayers go out to the entire Gollinger family. Subsequently, Deputy Anderson was short of breath and had tightness in his chest. Due to no available medical staff on scene, he was transported by Sergeant Layton Filiatra to CPH, where he was treated, diagnosed with smoke inhalation, and was released a few hours later after treatment and observation. I'd like to present this time a plaque to Deputy Anderson. I'll read it. It says, in recognition of his performance as Deputy Sheriff, his courageous acts on the evening of January 14, 2021. This commendation is presented with gratitude and honor of these actions. We're proud of it, but I think his kids, the smiles on their faces, they're more proud than anybody, and that's a great thing to see. Along with the certificate recommendation, this pin will be worn by Deputy Anderson for the rest of his career. It's an honor pin, life-saving pin, something he should be proud of, and everybody will see this when he wears his uniform every day, so I'll also present it to him. I'll end with a quote from Abraham Lincoln. He's one of my favorites in history. A real short one. He was long-winded like me, but I'll keep it short. Someone can snicker with anything, Mr. Akers. I didn't say something. Very short. Abraham Lincoln. Whatever you are, be a good one. And Deputy Anderson is a good one. Thank you. You can't stay all night. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're gonna have pictures outside. And next will be Lieutenant James Harris.
Good evening, members of the board. I'm Lieutenant James Harris of the New York State Police. On behalf of the Troop Commander, Major Oliver, I would like to recognize and present Trooper Latimer and Trooper Williamson with the Troop Commander's letter of commendation. At this time, I will read the citation. On January 24th, 2021, at approximately 10:32 p.m., Troopers Alexander L. Williamson and Robert L. Latimer, both of SP Canton, heard a call of a structure fire at 4545 County Route 24 in the town of Pierpont. Both troopers immediately responded to the scene to assist. Upon arrival, the troopers observed a fully engulfed double-wide trailer and were then advised of 2 residents that were still inside. The troopers, along with other first responders, followed family members to a window of the bedroom where the 2 residents were trapped. Trooper Williamson, Trooper Latimer, along with St. Lawrence County Sheriff Deputy Greg Anderson, partially entered the bedroom through a broken window and observed the female victim laying face down in the bed, unconscious. The troopers pulled the female victim out of the bedroom and placed her on a backboard. Once the female victim was out of the residence, a male victim was observed lying on the bed, also unconscious. Trooper Latimer assisted rescue personnel in getting the female victim away from the residence and into an ambulance. Trooper Williamson, Deputy Anderson, and a family member immediately pulled the male victim from the bedroom. Trooper Latimer located and utilized a piece of lumber to assist in carrying the male victim from the residence. Once in the driveway, the male victim was transferred to a backboard. Trooper Williamson immediately began assisting with resuscitation efforts and continued CPR until he was relieved by rescue personnel. Both troopers then assisted rescue in loading the male victim into an ambulance. The victims were transported to Camp Ossium Hospital where they regained vital signs. However, they were later transferred to SUNY Upstate Medical Center in Syracuse, New York, where they succumbed to their injuries and were pronounced deceased. Troopers Latimer and Williamson contributed significantly to the mission of the New York State Police in keeping with the finest traditions of professionalism. Both members took prompt, courageous action in an effort to save lives. Please accept my sincere appreciation for your initiative and bravery in your efforts to save these people. Your actions are highly commendable. Very truly yours, Major R. Anthony Oliver, Troop Commander. Latimer. Sure. Members of the board, thank you for this opportunity to recognize these troopers and their actions. Thank you.
Matt out there. Matt Denner.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight, guys. On January 24, 2021, at approximately 10:32 p.m., dispatcher Charles Lomka, also known as 6826, received a 911 call of potential structure fire located on 4545 County Route 24 in the town of Pierpont. Almost immediately, dispatcher Jared Daly, also known as 6804, dispatched Pierpont Fire Department. Dispatcher Mackenzie Bars 6829 also dispatched law enforcement at the same time. Second call came in at 10:35, informing dispatcher Lamka that there was 2 people potentially trapped in the structure. At a call, no dispatcher looks forward to receiving. This information was then relayed on to fire personnel that were en route either to the scene or to the station. Again, a call no fireman wants to hear. It puts in a totally different mindset and changes upon the arrival plan. Once the first arriving fireman on scene was Zach Cole and Jane Hughes. And the first to perform scene size up before arriving chiefs. First reports were heavy smoke at the back of the structure and heavy fire at the back of the structure, heavy smoke at the front. With quick actions from the team of Deputy Anderson, Trooper Latimer, Trooper Williamson, Firefighter Cole, Firefighter Hughes, they extricated both victims out of the front bedroom window and turning care over to first arriving EMS personnel. With that being said, it's my honor to present the first award to the following first responders, the ones that work in the 3 to 11 shift here at Emergency Services. Dispatcher Charles Lamica, Dispatcher Jared Daly, Dispatcher Mackenzie Bars, and Dispatcher Colin Myers. The certificate of commendation, the certificate of award to the following individuals I named in recognition of their performance and professionalism as dispatchers in the handling of a fire call on the evening of January 24th, 2021. And whereas, therefore, we have caused the certificate to be signed on the 5th day of April, year 2021. Shortly after that, the midnight crew took over and dispatched, and they were unable to come here tonight. The last words I'm going to give with Chief Peter Hoyt of Pierpont Fire Department. They're well-deserved recognitions of the 2 individuals who not only hold full-time jobs, support full-time families, and full-time volunteer firefighters at the local fire department, and also they're family members of the 2 victims of the fire, Firefighter Zach Cole and Firefighter James Hughes.
Thank you to the board. When you were asked why you became a volunteer firefighter, many volunteers say it's because they want to give back to their community. The training required, the dedication of the volunteer firefighters is, in my opinion, unmatched. It is truly a dedication to their community and neighbors. On January 24th, the Pierpont Volunteer Fire Department was called to a structure fire with entrapment. Zach Cole and James Hughes showed their training and their commitment to their community. The Pierpont Volunteer Fire Department commends these 2 firefighters and their commitment to their community.
These certificates award to Zach Cole and Jim Hughes in recognition of the performance as a firefighter and the courageous acts on the evening of January 24th, 2021. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. At this time, I'd like to call for a 10-minute recess. We can go out and enjoy some refreshments for the people here that are with us this evening. A special guest, and we'll have some photos taken with us. Need a motion? I don't think we do. No motion needed. 10-minute recess.
Okay.
Jolene, I believe, has got some things for us, our new interim public health director. She's got some kind of a clip that she wants to show us, I believe. Are you there, Jolene?
I am.
Go ahead, Jolene.
Okay. So for this week, for our COVID update, as of today, we have 6,734 cases. We have 6 current hospitalizations with 158 active cases, and 6,482 people have completed isolation. We have had 94 cumulative deaths since last March. And 1 year ago this week, St. Lawrence County had our first COVID-related death. Our hospitalizations, as you can see, are remaining steady, right around the 6 to under 10 range, at least around 6, which is good compared to where we were just in February. Our weekly cases, though, as you can see here, are going up. So with 1 day remaining in the reporting week, we have had 117 cases this week. And this is in comparison to our last board meeting where we had 46 cases for the week. So we are seeing another increase in cases. So our average new daily cases per week is up to 19.5, whereas 2 weeks ago we were at 6.6. And last week we were at 11.8. So our school cases, and this is the K-12 schools, our March average is at 12 cases per week. And then for the last 2 weeks, we have had 10 cases each week per week. We are seeing a slight increase in our college cases. This week so far, we have had 48 cases. Last week we had 24. And the 2 weeks prior to that, we had 4 each. So with the isolation and quarantine numbers, we have had a total of 29,912 people go through the entire process with 157, the numbers changed right before I put up 158 on active isolation. And then we currently have 338 people on mandatory quarantine. I do want to go over updated quarantine guidance for contacts. If you are fully vaccinated, and that means 2 weeks after your last vaccine shot, whether that's the one for the Johnson & Johnson or your second dose for Moderna or Pfizer, you do not need to quarantine after you've been exposed to someone with COVID. If you previously have had COVID-19, if you are within that 90-day window of when your symptoms started and you have had contact with an individual that is positive, you do not need to quarantine. If it is outside of the 90-day window, you will need to quarantine again. And for any individual who is not fully vaccinated or has not recovered from COVID in the previous 3 months, you are still required to quarantine for 10 days after exposure. On April 1st, New York State updated their travel advisory. So for domestic travel, you do not have to quarantine anymore. However, while it's not required, it is still recommended that you quarantine for either 7 days with a test 3 to 5 days after travel or 10 days without a test per the CDC. And then for international travel, after arriving in the US, in New York State, you must quarantine for 7 days with a test after 3 to 5 days after arrival, or quarantine for the full 10 days without a test. And that is for all international travel, regardless of whether you have had a previous COVID-19 infection or are fully vaccinated. Also effective today, gyms and fitness centers may resume normal operation hours. The curfew has been lifted. And for our vaccine distribution update, so far, St. Lawrence County Public Health Department has administered 4,037 first doses, and we have administered 1,929 second doses. So last week we were in Gouverneur, Ogdensburg, and then back in Gouverneur. This week we were in Massena today. We will be in Gouverneur later this week, along with Ogdensburg. We do have a first dose clinic in Ogdensburg. And then we are also working on the vulnerable populations. Next week, we will be in Star Lake and at the field house here in Canton. So for the vulnerable populations, we are focusing on the homebound, and we are working with Northern Lights Home Care Agency and the Governor Rescue Squad. And I wanted to take a minute to just recognize the Governor Rescue Squad. They applied to become a community paramedicine agency, and they were just approved over the weekend. And so they will now be able to assist public health with vaccinations, particularly for the homebound population. So I know we have presented this before. The regional hub that we are a part of has a dashboard. It does not get updated until Tuesdays. The link does get updated on our website, but I wanted to show where we were with our data for last week. We had out of the eligible population, we had 40% with at least one vaccine. And then we, of our total population, we had 33%. On the state site, they update theirs on a daily basis. So we are up to 37% of our total population, and they do not split it out the way we do with eligible population. So based off from having the total number of eligible individuals, the total number of individuals eligible, 45% of the county has had at least one vaccine dose. So beginning tomorrow, the new vaccine eligibility opens up. Anybody 16 years of age is eligible starting tomorrow. Pfizer is approved for 16 and older. Moderna and Janssen, commonly known as Johnson & Johnson, are approved for 18 plus. In St. Lawrence County, 16 and 17-year-olds should make their appointments at the state site at SUNY Potsdam. Currently, they are the only ones with Pfizer. It's not to say that at some point the pharmacies will not have Pfizer again, but right now the state site has appointments available, and minors will need parental consent to receive the vaccine. Also, starting April 6th, pharmacies will be able to vaccinate anyone regardless of age and/or occupation, and that is based on the vaccine type on hand. If they have Pfizer, they can do 16 and older. If they have the Moderna or the Janssen, it will be 18 and older. And then just launched today, New York is joining the Vaccine Finder. It's a tool developed by the Boston's Children's Hospital with support of the CDC. So if you go to the Finder, I don't know if my screen just switched or not. But if you go to the Vaccine Finder, it will let you type in a zip code and you can search for a particular vaccine or any vaccine within a certain time period or a certain zip code near you. So even after you receive your vaccine, it is still recommended that you wear your mask and wash your hands and socially distance, as we still do not know exactly how the vaccine does prevent transmission amongst groups. And it is difficult to know who is vaccinated in public. And that is all that I have.
Okay, thank you very much, Jolene. Mr. Forsythe. Go ahead, Mr. Forsythe.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Jolene, a couple questions. The recent uptick, can any of it be attributed, especially with the college students, to travel like spring break?
So some of it can be attributed to travel, not necessarily with the colleges. They didn't take spring break. We are seeing it with the in the college. We are also seeing some workplace clusters, household clusters, and some due to travel. Yes.
Okay. And also, as far as an employer, can an employer legally ask an employee if they have been vaccinated or encourage them to get vaccinated?
Yes.
Yes to both?
Yes to both.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Haggard, go ahead.
Thank you. Hi, Jolene, it's Margaret Haggard.
Hello.
What oversight do you have over the pharmacies, if any, or Walmart, those types of places?
We have none. They're regulated by either the federal or government or the New York State Department of Health. And when it comes to getting their vaccines, some of the pharmacies are getting it through New York State and some of it are getting it from the federal government.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Akers?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Jolene, do you have any idea how many tests are being run on I think we have 8 Reonics machines. The hospital has 6 and the county has provided 2. Do you have any data on how much testing is done on a daily basis with those particular machines?
I do not. I know that they are running all of their tests on the machines. I do know that the testing numbers have gone down slightly in the last couple of weeks, and I anticipate this week to be a little bit less as well, as people are on vacation. A lot of people are on vacation this week, but I do hope to see that people get tested and utilize the machines when they come back from vacation, but I do not have the numbers.
Okay, thank you.
No, I can find out.
Any other questions? No further questions, and thank you, Jolene. Other communications? Somebody else, please?
Kelly.
Kelly? Go ahead.
A resolution was received from Hamilton County urging the governor and federal government to expand broadband and rural cellular coverage to all New Yorkers. A resolution was received from Fulton County calling upon New York State legislators to curtail Governor Andrew Cuomo's emergency powers authority. A letter was received from Lori Kaplan requesting the legislators to pass a resolution declaring St. Lawrence County a sanctuary county for the Constitution and Bill of Rights, which reserves citizens the right to decide on matters which concern their lives, liberty, and property in the ordinary course of business. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you very much, Kelly. This time we have citizen participation. Any citizen who wishes to address the board, please come forward and state your name and stand before the podium. You're limited to 5 minutes. Nobody coming for citizen participation? Okay. No citizen participation. We'll go on to resolutions. Ms. Kern.
I have a resolution declaring April Sexual Assault Awareness Month.
Okay, and it's seconded by Mr. Perkins. Any discussion? All right, no discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Mr. Chairman, I have a resolution for the approval of bad debt write-offs for the probation department, and I move that resolution.
Seconded by Mr. Perkins. Any discussion? Mr. Akers.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. I'll be voting against this resolution. I think that this debt can be obtained. Many of these individuals probably receive checks for $1,400 on more than one occasion, and I think that that we would be remiss if we didn't tackle that problem. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Any other opposed other than Mr. Akers? Okay, one opposed. Gary? Ms. Kern?
Mr. Chairman, I have a resolution authorizing the chair to sign the Alternatives to Incarceration Service Plan contract, and I move that resolution.
Is there a second? Mr. Perkins? Any discussion? No discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Ms. Kern?
Mr. Chairman, I have a resolution authorizing the chair to sign a contract with New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services to accept the federal year 21 Alternative to Incarceration Pre-Trial Electronic Home Monitoring Grant, and I move that resolution.
seconded by Mr. Denisha. Any discussion? There being no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Ms. Curran.
I have a resolution authorizing the chair to sign a contract with the New York State Office of Indigent Legal Services to accept the Upstate Quality Improvement and Caseload Reduction Grant for 2020 through 2023, and I move that resolution.
Any second? Second by Mr. Perkins. Any discussion? No discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Ms. Curran.
I have a resolution designating April 2021 as Fair Housing Month, and I move that resolution.
Second. Second by Mr. Akers. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Ms. Curran.
I have a resolution proclaiming Earth Day in St. Lawrence County, and I move that resolution. That was for April 22nd.
Second by Mr. Fay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Ms. Curran.
I have a resolution authorizing the planning office to apply for the community development block grant funding and for the chair to sign the necessary application documentation and a contract with the New York State Office of Community Renewal, and I move that resolution.
Second by Mr. Lightfoot. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Ms. Curran.
I have a resolution recognizing the month of April as National Child Abuse Prevention Month, as first recognized in 1983 by then President Ronald Reagan.
Seconded by Mr. John Burke. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Mr. Lightfoot.
Mr. Chairman, I offer a resolution proclaiming March as COVID-19 Memorial Month in St. Lawrence County and extending the appreciation of the county to all involved in the COVID-19 response, and move for its adoption.
Is there a second by Ms. Kern and Mr. Denisha? Any discussion? Oh, Ms. Terminelli. Any discussion? No discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Mr. Lightfoot.
Mr. Chairman, I offer a resolution proclaiming April 5th through 11th, 2021 as National Public Health Week, and move for its adoption.
Seconded by Ms. Kern. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Mr. Lightfoot.
Mr. Chairman, I have a resolution authorizing the chair to sign an amendment to the Immunization Action Plan grant with the New York State Department of Health for the Public Health Department, and move for its adoption.
Seconded by Ms. Kern. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Mr. Lightfoot.
Mr. Chairman, I have a resolution modifying the 2021 budget for public health to accept performance incentive achievement award funds and move for its adoption.
Seconded by Ms. Kern. Any discussion? We're going to have a roll call vote with no discussion, please.
Haggard,
Yes.
Fiaco,
Yes.
Burke,
Yes.
Arquette,
Yes.
Terminelli,
Yes.
Curran,
Yes.
Reagan,
Yes.
Forsythe,
Yes.
Lightfoot,
Yes.
Sheridan,
Yes.
Smithers,
Yes.
Denisha,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Akers,
Yes.
Fay,
Yes.
Haggard,
She already voted. She already voted, Kelly.
She only gets one vote.
Oh, in that case, yes.
Thank you.
Carried. Mr. Lightfoot.
Mr. Chairman, I have a resolution for the approval of rates for related services for the preschool special education program and move for its adoption.
Seconded by Ms. Kern. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Mr. Lightfoot.
Mr. Chairman, I have a resolution authorizing the chair to sign a contract with Volunteer Transportation Center Incorporated for management of non-emergency transportation for child welfare and adult services and move for its adoption.
Seconded by Mr. Denisha. And any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Go ahead, Mr. Lightfoot.
Mr. Chairman, I have a resolution modifying the 2020 budget for social services for state training schools and move for its adoption.
And second by Ms. Kern again. Any discussion? No discussion, we have a roll call vote.
Fiaco,
Yes.
Burke,
Yes.
Arquette,
Yes.
Terminelli,
Yes.
Curran,
Yes.
Reagan,
Yes.
Forsythe,
Yes.
Lightfoot,
Yes.
Sheridan,
Yes.
Smithers,
Yes.
Denisha,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Akers,
Yes.
Hay,
Yes.
Haggard,
Yes.
15 yes.
Carried. Mr. Lightfoot.
Mr. Chairman, I have a resolution authorizing the chair to sign Adirondacks ACO compliance program guidelines, provider attestation, and move for its adoption.
Second by Ms. Kern. Any discussion? All in favor? No, excuse me. Yeah, all in favor on this one.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carried. Mr. Lightfoot.
Mr. Chairman, I have a resolution authorizing the chair to sign amended contracts and modifying the 2021 budget for community services for funding received from New York State OASIS to St. Lawrence County as pass-through funding to approved agencies and move for its adoption.
Is there a second? Second by Mr. Fay. Discussion? No discussion? Roll call vote.
Burke,
Yes.
Arquette,
Yes.
Terminelli,
Yes.
Curran,
Yes.
Reagan,
Yes.
Forsythe,
Yes.
Lightfoot,
Yes.
Sheridan,
Yes.
Smithers,
Yes.
Denisha,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Akers,
Yes.
Hay,
Yes.
Haggard,
Yes.
Fiaco,
Yes.
15 yes.
Carried. Mr. Lightfoot.
Mr. Chairman, I have a resolution authorizing the chair to sign amended contracts and modifying the 2021 budget for community services for funding received from New York State OMH to St. Lawrence County as pass-through funding to approved agencies and for its adoption.
Seconded by Ms. Kern. Any discussion? No discussion? Roll call vote.
Arquette,
Yes.
Terminelli,
Yes.
Curran,
Yes.
Reagan,
Yes.
Forsythe,
Yes.
Lightfoot,
Yes.
Sheridan,
Yes.
Smithers,
Yes.
Denisha,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Akers,
Yes.
Fay,
Yes.
Haggard,
Yes.
Piacco,
Yes.
Burke,
Yes.
15 yes.
Motion carried. Mr. Lightfoot.
Mr. Chairman, I have a resolution authorizing the creation of the St. Lawrence County Employee Professional Development and Tuition Reimbursement Program for the training and retention of skilled employees, and move for its adoption.
Seconded by Mr. Fay, yes, and Mr. Akers. Any discussion? Mr. Forsythe.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Couple questions for Ruth. So this will be a new line item in our budget. Do we have an estimate, and I know it's in the planning stages, do you have an estimated amount that you're planning on devoting to this line item?
Mr. Chair, can I answer that question?
Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Forsythe, looking generally at, a one-class generalization per department, which certainly I would imagine once it gets going, looks different. I believe if I looked at one class per department, it would be approximately $82,000 with the numbers that I provided. So if you were to look at approximately a start out of $100,000 to make available, if the board should support this resolution and it's adopted, what I would like to do is a survey of employees to see who would be interested in doing this. And I think that would provide me the opportunity to give you a better understanding of what likelihood there would be for that, that taking advantage or an interest in taking advantage of that opportunity.
Okay, so if I can follow up, the intent is to have a special amount denoted each year and not to exceed that amount, or on a first come, first served basis, or how do we plan on distributing? Or too
There
early
would be
to
an
tell?
Can I answer that?
Go ahead.
There would be an interest in an annual appropriations associated with that. I don't think I can answer the second part until I get a better idea of the interest.
Okay, and one more follow-up. How many of our neighboring counties, Jefferson, Franklin, Lewis, offer this?
I'll have to get back to you on that. I believe at least 2 others, but I'll follow up to be certain.
And if you could follow up with the amount that they designate towards that, I'd appreciate it.
Happy to.
Each year.
Okay.
I won't support this. I made my case during the committee meeting. This is one of small businesses' abilities to compete with governmental employees and to secure good governmental employees. I understand the logic behind this, and I just can't in good faith support it. So thank you.
Any more discussion? Mr. Burke. Go ahead, Mr. Burke.
Is this for college courses only, Ruth, or will there be support for, like, maybe somebody who wants to progress in the trades?
Mr. Chair, can I answer that question?
Go ahead.
It would be for both, Mr. Burke. It would be interest certificate programs. I think there's a variety of programs that this may apply to. It is not restricted just to college courses.
Thank you.
Any other questions or discussion? No more questions, no discussion. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Mr. Forsythe votes no. Any other votes? No. Okay. Passed. Motion carried. Mr. Akers.
Mr. Chairman, I offer a resolution authorizing the chair to sign a contract with J.B. Sheehan Contracting Corp. for the replacement of 2 bridges on the Jones Road, the west branch of the St. Regis River. Bins number 3366 590 and bin number 3341 150. I move this resolution.
Okay, seconded by Mr. Lightfoot and Ms. Kern. Any discussion? Mr. Perkins, go ahead.
I'll be abstaining due to my employment.
So noted. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Mr. Akers?
Mr. Chairman, I offer a resolution modifying the 2021 budget for the Department of Highways for St. Lawrence County Bridge Preservation Project, bid number 334980, bid number 3341-780, bid number 775396. I move this resolution.
Mr. Denisha makes a motion, makes the second. Any discussion? No discussion, so roll call vote.
Terminelli,
Yes.
Curran,
Yes.
Reagan,
Yes.
Forsythe,
Yes.
Lightfoot,
Yes.
Sheridan,
Yes.
Smithers,
Yes.
Denisha,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Akers,
Yes.
Fay,
Yes.
Haggard,
Yes.
Piaco,
Yes.
Burke,
Yes.
Arquette,
Yes.
15 yes.
Carried. Mr. Akers?
Mr. Chairman, I offer a resolution authorizing the chair to sign a contract with the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation for a water quality improvement project program grant. I move this resolution.
Seconded by Mr. Smithers. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Mr. Akers?
Mr. Chairman, I offer a resolution authorizing the chair to sign a supplemental agreement number 1 with Stantec Consulting Services for additional engineering and design services for County Route 35 Bridge over Trout Brook. Bid number 3341-700, bid number 775394, and modifying the 2021 budget for the Highway Department. And move this resolution.
Seconded by Ms. Kern and Mr. Smithers. Any discussion? No discussion. Roll call vote.
Curran,
Yes.
Reagan,
Yes.
Forsythe,
Yes.
Lightfoot,
Yes.
Sheridan,
Yes.
Smithers,
Yes.
Denisha,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Akers,
Yes.
Fay,
Yes.
Haggard,
Yes.
Piaco,
Yes.
Burke,
Yes.
Arquette,
Yes.
Terminelli,
Yes.
15 yes.
Carried. Mr. Akers?
Mr. Chairman, I offer a resolution modifying the 2021 budget for the Department of Highways for State Resiliency and Economic Development Initiative, known as READY, grant funds for the Cumberland Street Bridge Project, bid number 3341-380, SJ.3, Town of Morristown. I move this resolution.
Seconded by Mr. Lightfoot. Any discussion? No discussion. Roll call vote.
Reagan,
Yes.
Forsythe,
Yes.
Lightfoot,
Yes.
Sheridan,
Yes.
Smithers,
Yes.
Denisha,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Akers,
Yes.
Fay,
Yes.
Haggard,
Yes.
Piaco,
Yes.
Burke,
Yes.
Arquette,
Yes.
Terminelli,
Yes.
Curran,
Yes.
15 yes.
Carried. Mr. Akers?
Mr. Chairman, I offer a resolution authorizing the chair to sign roadside mowing contracts. I move this resolution.
Seconded by Mr. Perkins and Ms. Kern. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Mr. Akers?
Mr. Chairman, I offer a resolution authorizing the chair to sign a contract with Franklin County Highway Department for road salt and move this resolution.
Seconded by Rita Kern. And any discussion? No discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Mr. Akers?
Mr. Chairman, on this next resolution, for discussion with County Administrator Ruth Doyle, I would like to table this at this time for more information.
Motion to table. Ms. Kern seconds it. All in favor? Oh, any discussion at the table, or do we need a discussion?
I don't believe there is a discussion on the table.
Okay, let's just skip the discussion then. How about everybody in favor of that resolution to table or the amendment to table it?
Aye.
Tabled to a date, May 24th.
One more time?
I'm sorry, tabled to May 24th.
Yes.
So May 24th.
Okay, May 24th is the table date, okay. Okay, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Anyone opposed to it? Carried. Okay, Mr. Akers?
Mr. Chairman, I offer a resolution authorizing the acquisition of a permanent easement for construction of a county highway facility in the town of Potsdam. I move this resolution.
Seconded by Ms. Kern. Any discussion? No discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Mr. Akers?
I have a question for the county administrator. This resolution, was this the one you want tabled also or not? No, okay, thank you. So, Mr. Chairman, I offer a resolution authorizing the issuance of a negative declaration related to the SJ03 Northumberland Bridge Project in Morristown, New York. I move this resolution.
Okay, seconded by Lightfoot. Any discussion? No discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Mr. Akers?
Mr. Chairman, I offer a resolution authorizing the treasurer to modify the Program Year 20 Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act, WIO, budget to transfer formula funds from the dislocated worker accounts to adult accounts and move this resolution.
Seconded by Ms. Kern. Any discussion? No discussion? Roll call vote.
Forsythe,
Yes.
Lightfoot,
Yes.
Sheridan,
Yes.
Smithers,
Yes.
Denisha,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Akers,
Yes.
Fay,
Yes.
Haggard,
Yes.
Piacco,
Yes.
Burke,
Yes.
Arquette,
Yes.
Terminelli,
Yes.
Curran,
Yes.
Reagan,
Yes.
15 yes.
Carried. Mr. Akers?
Mr. Chairman, I offer a resolution authorizing the submission of a joint application for intermediate funds with the towns of Brazier, Norfolk, and Messina related to a public service law, Article 10 proceeding regarding the siting of an industrial scale solar generating facility and authorizing the chair to sign service agreements and move this resolution.
Seconded by Mr. Perkins. Any discussion? Mr. Arca, go ahead for discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor to this resolution, please.
So noted.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Mr. Akers?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to defer to Vice Chairman Denisha for this resolution. It involves his hometown. Mr. Denisha.
Thank you, Mr. Akers. Mr. Chairman, I offer a resolution requesting the New York State Department of Transportation, New York State DOT, perform a traffic study an investigation on a portion of US Route 11 in the town of DeKalb, supporting a request by the town of DeKalb for enactment of Senate Bill S1868 and Assembly Bill A4201 to reduce the maximum speed limit on certain public highways.
Seconded by, your hands in front of your face. Oh, yeah, Mr. Forsythe. Any discussion? Go ahead, Mr.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know I made my case in committee, and I appreciate the support that has been provided by my fellow legislators. I also appreciate the support that we've received so far from Senator Ritchie and some from Blankenbush. And it's this has got we have an opportunity here to be proactive versus reactive. Oftentimes we have an opportunity, but for one reason or another, we choose not to take action until something drastic has occurred. And after something drastic has occurred, then there's always more than enough blame to go around. So I think this is a perfect opportunity to do something right.
Any further discussion? No further discussion. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Mr. Akers.
Mr. Chairman, I proudly offer a resolution proclaiming March 21st to the 27th of 2021 as National Agricultural Week in St. Lawrence County. I move this resolution.
Seconded by Mr. Kern. Mr. Smithers. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Mr. Akers.
Mr. Chairman, I offer a resolution authorizing the consolidation of the Department of Social Services Legal Unit with the Office of the County Attorney. I move this resolution.
Seconded by Mr. Lightfoot. And any discussion? Mr. Lightfoot.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to offer an amendment at the end of the first Viet River resolve, deleting the last word in that paragraph and inserting effective on Monday, May 3rd, 2021.
Okay.
Move for its adoption.
Okay. Well, there's a resolution, the amendment's been added. Is there a second? Ms. Kern. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Discussion?
Mr. Sheridan,
Okay, go ahead.
I'd like to recuse myself from the discussion of the amendment as well as the resolution, and I will recuse from voting on this as well.
So noted.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have discussion on the amendment, the resolution. No discussion on the amendment, the resolution?
No.
Okay, all in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Anyone oppose the amendment on the resolution? Mr. Arkwood? Ms. Terminelli? Ms. Biacco? Mr. Burke? Did I miss anyone opposing it? I just made those names that I got everybody? Okay. So the motion fails. The motion passes, and so it's now an amended resolution with that date added in there. So now, on the resolution as amended, is there any discussion on that? Go ahead, Mr. Smithers.
Yeah, I have a question.
Go ahead, Mr. Smithers.
It was asked to read, the offices of the legal, would they be changed from where they are now, or would they stay where they are?
On behalf of the caseworker who asked, the accessibility where they are now, she felt was handy to have them there, and wondering if their offices would be moved as a result of this resolution. Who would answer that question?
What positions are you asking are going to be moved?
The attorneys.
The attorneys.
The DSS attorneys, would they be moved to a different location than this?
My understanding, no. My understanding is no, but county administrator, you can answer that.
I don't believe there's an interest in moving the staff that are over there now. I can find out for sure and report back to you, but that's my understanding.
So, you don't believe it?
Yeah, I don't believe so. But I can find out.
Mr. Arkwood.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just to bring a little history to this, as far as I can see it, at the departure of our previous DSS commissioner, we all realized that we had some significant problems in DSS further than I believe any of us were aware, or any awareness I was made. So we had a consensus, and we put new lead counsel into the department. Following that, this body, under a different chairman than we have today, put together a search committee that sought out the best possible candidate for that job, who sits as our DSS commissioner now. She in turn staffed up the legal department to the degree that there was some satisfaction with her and the lead counsel as they move forward, trying to completely reorganize a humongous department tasked with monumental task over there, very critical work that they do and difficult. So now, without any indication, again, that I've been made aware of any financial woes or any staff problems over there, as a matter of fact, I've heard everything but the opposite, that morale is improved. Things are getting done. People are moving forward in a positive way because of the leadership. And I've spoken to many of those folks at all different levels. I'm not sure why this resolution is even before us right now. I certainly am not sure why we would interfere with something that, in essence, we had the oversight on to create this new team, and now we're going to cut the legs out from underneath them before they are able to even have enough time to show the successes of what they've been doing there. I mean, we're talking about a little bit, I believe our DSS commissioner's been there just a little bit over a half a year. And again, so there's great opposition to this within the staff, and I understand that there's some that don't feel the staff should have a say in it, but I'm not one of those individuals. And I implore my colleagues to not move forward. Do not support this. There is no urgency to support this whatsoever. Please give the people that we put in place an opportunity to show how that they're going to turn this department around. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Arkwood. Mr. Forsyth.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I believe Mr. Lightfoot's the sponsor of the resolution. I'm going to ask him, what do we foresee as the long-term benefit of this change? Is there a long-term benefit associated with this?
Mr. Lightfoot, do you want to answer that question?
If you want to give me permission to.
I'll give you permission. I'll give you permission.
I think the long-term benefit would be obvious if everyone was aware of what the issues are over there and how they are being addressed right now. And they are being addressed by social services, legal, and the commissioner coming to this board asking for additional staff. I have no problem with that, but I would like to hear some justification for that. And the justification that we have been given
is that we have over 350 children in care and custody in St. Lawrence County. And in fact, if you listened to the YouTube presentation by the Department of Social Services, you will hear it being said that we could expect in the current year things to increase to, or those numbers could increase to over 400. That's totally unacceptable. And I think that is one of the things that will be taken care of. Another thing that we'll be taking a look at is the process by which CPS workers are allowed to act as foster parents. To me, that's a conflict. If there's an issue with a foster parent, who does the investigation? Child Protective Services does. So we're expecting that if that happens, that we are going to be sending out a CPS worker to investigate another CPS worker. I don't think that's going to work very well. That needs to be corrected. It also needs to be corrected when we are told that we have caseloads of people with 40 and 50 cases, 30 cases. We're never told that there are caseworkers over there with less than double digits, 7, 8 cases. I'm sure there's reason for it, but back in, let me see, I believe it was September, the average caseload was 14.7 cases. That doesn't mean that everybody had 14.7 cases, as you all know. It means that some had a lot more and some had considerably less. That to me needs to be addressed. We need to see facts and figures coming out of the Department of Social Services that are going to help this board make decisions. And I'll give you a perfect example of that. Mr. Forsythe asked probably a month ago, what is the daily cost to St. Lawrence County for someone in care and custody? Unless he got a personal phone call, which I don't know about, I don't believe that he has been informed of what that is. 3 weeks ago, I asked several questions of the commissioner, and I still do not have a response to them. I would expect that those kind of changes will be seen once Mr. Button, if this resolution passes, takes over leadership over there. I think that information, solid information, will be available to this board and available to make informed decisions about how we are going to react to requests by social services. I think there are, and I know there are, several more issues that need to be addressed that I am not comfortable discussing in this venue, but I'm sure that probably all of you have done your due diligence, and you're probably as aware of some of the things that I might be aware of in addition. So that's how I would respond to Mr. Forsythe's question.
Thank you.
If I can follow up.
Mr. Forsythe.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
I wasn't at the finance committee when this was brought up, and I didn't even realize it was going to be on the agenda. But my question would be for the commissioner. It seems like at the last services, I believe, we asked the question, and she was quite comfortable with the legal department in DSS. Has that changed since the last time I heard? Is she on board here? Is Cynthia present?
Good evening, everyone. I guess I could just say a few things. I'm certain that everybody out there has heard my spiel on this difficult matter. In regards to Mr. Lightfoot's question about me providing Legislator Forsythe the number of the cost of care per child per day. That's a pretty difficult number to secure. We've been working on it. That number actually has to come out of each child's separate eligibility level. So I do have our finance department working on that. It takes a lot of time, so they have other things going on, but they are working on that. I do try to get back with everything that I possibly can. Sometimes it's reaching out to other commissioners to seek back, information on what they're doing. Sometimes that just takes time. I don't have control over that. What I do want to say is that this department has a full agenda for 2020-21. We have Family First coming on board in September. We also have a lot of new staff. Thank you for that, to begin to onboard. So we have a lot coming, a lot of change that's coming to us for the next few months even. I do want to take a minute, based on all this, to just to personally thank the DSS legal staff for their dedication. My hope is that, we can continue to move forward and support the families in this county. Unfortunately, right now, this has become something that's in the legislators' hands. It's kind of out of my hands, but my intent is to ensure that the department will continue to move forward in a positive direction as best we can. So, if anybody else has questions or something, I can try to answer that or get the information to you as soon as possible.
If I can follow up with her, Mr. Chair?
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Wilson.
Cynthia, are you comfortable with the idea of the employees buying into this plan?
It's just really difficult to answer. I think I spoke and people know how I feel. It's just become a really difficult situation to discuss. But I do want to respond to one more thing. The case holds at 14.1. That came at a time, we did research that because it was kind of an outlier. What happened was we had the onset of COVID. At that time, we had the closing down of all the schools and basically the community and everything shut down. So we weren't getting the calls that came in, and it actually provided us the opportunity to close up to 200 cases that we had been working on in Child Protective Services. But once things started to open back up, even kids started to go remote and schools started to open, that number crept back up. And we are actually, I believe, close to at the point a couple months ago when we looked at that, we were already exceeding the numbers from the previous couple of years. So that was kind of an outlier number, but I just wanted to clarify how that came to be at the 14.1.
Okay, and just to follow up a couple more items and I'll be done. As far as Mr. Lightfoot's statement that Attorney Button could take over this, absolutely. I have no question that Stephen, I was on the hiring committee for Stephen. Anything we tasked him with, he does, and he does it beyond belief. So that's not my issue. My issue with this is 37 years we've been doing it this other way, and I still haven't quite heard the long-term strategy for how this is going to benefit the county. Now, yeah, Mr. Button can take this over. How long is Mr. Button going to be there? What's going to happen 5 years, 6 years, 8 years, 10 years out from here? I have serious concerns with this. Why we've had it 37 years handled in DSS. Now, all of a sudden, we're going to do it ourselves. I've gotten several emails, calls. There's a perception there that this has nothing to do with long-term benefit, but just to get rid of the DSS legal, the head of DSS legal, which, not being a fan either way, I can see how that would happen, but this is a major change to do for that reason. I was a Steve Button supporter from the beginning. I was a Cynthia Ackerman supporter from the beginning. Mr. Arquette made a compelling statement that she's 6 or 8 months into this job. Here she's coming through with a recommendation. She's getting buy-in from her employees, and we're going to pull the rug. And I'm not going to vote for that. I can't bring myself to vote for that, no matter my feelings for any of the other things. Mr. Lightfoot mentioned some of the issues going on in DS. I'm not privy to those. Okay, I don't hear what's going on. But the people that I have spoken with that did call, that reached out by email, are very encouraged with Cynthia. They're very encouraged with the DSS legal. And at this point, I just see no reason to change it. So if it's not totally broken, I'm not here to try to fix it. People will say, well, they've been there since 2020. This began long before 2020, okay? So I'm a no on this one. I'll probably be a lone ranger of some sort, but I'm used to that. But I'm going to support you, Cynthia. As I said from day one, I would. I'm going to support legal staying where it's at. I just don't see, I'm hoping this isn't a headhunting mission, which I got a feeling it is, but if it is, it is. So I can live with the either way because I'm comfortable with Mr. Button taking it over if that's what transpires. But I hope everyone's voting for the right reasons on this. Thank you.
Mr. Terminelli.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. While we have Cindy on here, can I just ask, Cindy, when you came to us, it was prior to December because we moved the resolution in December that gave you the ability to get support on cases from the county attorney's office. What were your staffing levels like in DSS legal at that point that you were requesting our assistance or the county attorney's assistance?
I believe at that time that we had David and we had Keith Massey, who started a week before I did. And then we had just onboarded Christine and Matthew, our two other attorneys. But what happened at that time is the courts had been closed due to COVID. And at that time, they were going to be opening back up support that was still going to be done, via Zoom, but they were opening it and they were putting cases onto the docket. And at that point, we had 200 to 250 support cases that were going to be put on the docket back to back. So at that point, we thought, how are we going to do this? We have all these children in care where, David and Keith were in court constantly. Christine and Matthew were brand new. So at that point, we thought we really did need that help. Attorneys are hard to find. So finding Christine and Matthew was wonderful. So, but at that point, we just thought there was just no way we could do it all. So that was the point of that resolution.
And if I could follow up and ask today, do you feel like you need the support of the county attorney's office, or do you feel that you would be better able to do your job if the DSS legal was under the county attorney's supervision?
It's a really difficult question for me to answer. I think, and I appreciate everybody asking, but I just feel that at this point, it's kind of down to the legislators figuring this out. And that's kind of where I need to stand.
Okay. So some of the long-term, I agree. I haven't really heard a long-term solution either of where we're going with this. But it did seem like a lot of the points that were made had to do with caseworkers and caseload. And I'm not really sure how that connects to the DSS legal, but maybe I just don't understand how all of that works well. I guess what I would ask is, we have had executive session since this resolution first came forward. So if there were personnel matters that any of the legislators were aware of, I would like to think that it would have been brought to the board's attention at that time, and it wasn't. So again, I'm hoping that there's no personnel issues either. One question that I do have is this resolution, if approved tonight, has the power and capability, I would say, to transform the organization of two of our departments. And it seems that it's not necessarily a recommendation that's been made by either department, DSS or the county attorney's office. They seem to be both players in this game, not that they've requested it or recommended it. So I guess, and I'm not even sure who I'm asking, in the past, when we have changed the organizational structure of two departments to this level or to this caliber, what metrics do we put in place to benchmark and measure those changes to see if they were effective over, let's say, I'm assuming it's been done monthly and that we would be revisiting metrics of some sort over the next year to see if this shift in departments and this organizational structure of the departments was beneficial. So I guess if somebody knows the metrics that will be used to monitor this situation, to see if this was an effective move, what would those metrics be? Will we be provided with information monthly on that? And if we weren't, then I guess I'm formally requesting that we are provided with that information monthly. So I'm not sure who would answer those questions. Mr. Chairman.
You want to know who to ask those questions of?
Yes, or if you know the answers, how we plan to, or Mr. Lightfoot, how we plan to monitor these changes if this resolution goes forward and becomes effective on May 3rd.
I think we'll be monitoring that probably by when it gets changed over under the supervision of Mr. Button. We'll be hearing some input from him in terms of what some of the improvements may be over there in that department. And because he is being in charge now of the legal department, and maybe the Department of Social Services Commissioner will be totally in charge of just the personnel and the Department of Social Services. There's lots of divisions for her she has her hands full with right now, and managing that department. It's a big department. There's a lot of players there, and so I'm happy to see that this is going to be, if this passes tonight, it will be under the legal department. Will have its own legal department, and then our commissioner can continue on doing a great job that she's been doing just with the Department of Social Services and not having to manage 4 or 5 attorneys as well. So that's my answer. We'll be monitoring by listening to the commissioner's reports, looking at maybe the numbers are going to start improving. We're also going to be monitoring the county attorney will be telling us how he thinks it's going as a result of this happening. And so there may not be that much of a change. We don't know until we try it. We think that some of us would think this is the way to go.
Okay, but is it safe, but without established goals for the purpose of this change? I'm not, what are we going to be looking at?
No, Mr. Lightfoot, go ahead.
Well,
We'll let Mr. Lightfoot go ahead. He raised his hand.
I think we'd be looking, I know we'd be looking at a more even distribution of cases that fall within the numbers as being suggested, the caps suggested by the state, the use of the almost 20 people that we have authorized to hire in CPS and in the prevent side, the decrease in those numbers of children in care and custody. I think that for the most part, that is where the problems are. We don't know, nor are we able to get the figures, and I have not been provided with an answer to the question that I asked about the lack of enthusiastic support for cases that go in there. Findings by the judge that there is a lack on the part of CPS in doing the job that's required with respect to those cases. I have asked for those numbers. I have asked not only the commissioner, but the family court judge, and I still haven't had any answers for those two things. Those are the things that you have to look at. You have to look at how many cases that are indicated, what's the percentage in those indicated cases of children being removed. And I'll give you an example. I'm told that in Franklin County, for instance, and I'm not passing judgment on their figures or anything else, and I'm just using them
as a comparison. I don't know the accuracy of them, and it really gives me pause to do this to begin with. But I will say in general terms that in Franklin County, their percentage of children removed from the family setting is a much smaller percentage of the percentage that we remove in indicated cases in St. Lawrence County. Now I know, figures lie and liars figure, and I don't have any documentation as of now about that, or I would give you what the numbers that I have, but I don't think it would be prudent to do so. There are several things that, and I'm sure that the commissioner would agree, that need to be attended to. I think too that it's important that not just this board isn't into setting goals as far as, exactly what we want to see. I think that it is up to the commissioner and her staff to set the goals, to let us know what they are and allow us to opine on them if we so desire to do so. But I think if we set the goals, then we're trying to run the department, and that's not our business. We all may think we're smart enough to do it, but I don't think that there's anybody in this room that could run that department. And I do agree that the current commissioner, with the issues that she has to deal with, is doing a pretty good job. And my concern is that let's get this up and running. Let's get some new leadership in the legal department over there. And I think that we will all be surprised. I think one of the things that you could rely on was in January when Mr. Buck went over there were a pile of termination of parental, what's it, TPR, termination of parental responsibility.
Right.
There were over 100 of those at the time. When he left, there were 14 or 15 that, and these are what I am told, rather complicated cases. Those kinds of things take these children off of the care and custody role and puts them into the eligible for adoption role, and they oftentimes get adopted, evidenced by the amount of money that we spend on adoptions. So there's a lot to be done that is in plain sight. There's a lot to be done that is underneath the surface. As far as the goals, I would be more than happy, and I'm sure everybody on this board would be more than happy to have the commissioner tell us what the goals she feels they should be. Let us take a look at it. Let us comment on them. Let us debate them if we need to. But I think that's the way to go with that. I hope that answers your question, Nicole.
Thank you.
Mr. Burke.
Cindy, I hope Cindy's still on the line here. I'm going to start out by saying similar things to what Dave said. Cindy's done an outstanding job, and Joe had suggested we all dig a little deeper. And I think at least the people that I spoke with have dug a little deeper. What's clear to me, and Cindy, you can dispute this if I'm not telling it as I should, but what's clear to me is that Cindy has a plan. Cindy has developed a plan, and that plan is currently being implemented. The plan, however, did not include a change to the legal department. And if I heard Joe correctly, moving the county attorney over there would give us an honest assessment or words to that effect. Well, I have to tell you, I think Cindy is probably one of the most honest, transparent people that I know. I mean, she calls it as it is. And my thorough understanding is Cindy did not ask for the help. This asked for a change in the structure. She does not want the change in the structure, and she feels the change in the structure might be detrimental. Now, the idea that caseworkers have varying degrees of caseloads, I think we've all been privy to the reason for that. And that's in part the historic high turnover of staff in Child Protective. 12%, that's high. It's very high. So, and the amount of time that goes into training new staff and bringing them up to speed is extensive. And lots of times we lose them simply because they see the handwriting on the wall. They're going to be doing more work than what they can possibly do in a 7-hour day. Now, the idea that and again, I'm not disputing Steve's qualities, but the idea that bringing somebody in to call it as they see it, when Cindy's already there and has been doing that, she's been telling it exactly how it is. I don't think she's pulled any punches. And if there's something else going on, and I agree with Nicole, it sounds like Joe knows information that the rest of us don't. And that's really, that's unfair to all of us that have to make this decision. We should all be privy to the same level of information. And I think, Dave, you referred to that as well. There shouldn't be anything behind the scenes here. What I heard Joe say is that, yeah, we got problems with Child Protective Services. We don't have enough workers. Plain and simple. That's being remedied. Cindy's got a plan for that. I see absolutely no reason for this whatsoever. The idea that we would put somebody over there who could now tell us what's going on. I mean, what kind of an organization are we running? We hired Cindy. She's been there for 7 months. 7 months. We hired her to do a job. The very least we can do is give her a chance to do her job. Let's stay out of her hair, give her a chance to do the job. And if we have issues at some point in the future, then I'm sure there isn't anybody on this board who's unwilling to speak up if there's problems. So, and Cindy, if I said anything that was incorrect, would you correct me now?
I mean, again, I think that everybody's heard my spiel. It's, I don't really know what to say at this.
Can I interrupt? Cindy, you probably couldn't answer this, could you, without repeating what you've already told this board?
Say that again. Sorry, Mr. Sheridan.
I said your answer to these questions you've already discussed with this board in terms of what the way he framed the question was, it's framed in a way that you've already told us what your thoughts are, correct?
I have. I know. I think all of you were here last time when I spoke, so.
Yeah. That's my point. So I'd like to move along with new information that hasn't been discussed.
Mr. Chairman, if I could, that wasn't the point that I made. It wasn't to talk about previous information. The point I made is that Cindy had not requested this. She does not want this, and she feels it is not in the best interest of the department. That's the thing that I asked Cindy to either confirm or not confirm. That's my understanding, and I don't believe that that has been pointedly discussed in any previous meeting.
Well, I think that she's, is it yes or no? Cindy, do you have additional information?
I can just say quickly that, correct, but I also just want to make sure that, you know, that the staff watching this understand that, you know, I always advocate for them, but I also, you know, at some point, this department needs to move forward. You know, and I'm still on board to being a big part of that. Kind of all I have to say.
Mr. Denise.
I think we're putting the commissioner in an untenable position.
Yeah.
I think it's unfair to do this to her.
Yes.
And we shouldn't be doing it to her. She's in an untenable position.
Thank you for that, Mr. Denisha. I just want to say I will not be voting yes on this. I think that we have a commissioner who's only been in the position for a short time. She did not get us into this problem that we're at. She is working hard to try to get us out of the situation that we're in. I've been talking to folks that I know whose judgment I respect, and they feel that the new commissioner is working hard to bring people in the department together, and that she's open to their ideas and is showing them that she's willing to work with them to make the department better. I think that, you know, over the next year, we're going to see a new family court judge. I think we need to give the department an opportunity to work on the issues that this board has identified. And if we find ourselves in this position going forward, then I think something like this might be appropriate. But since we have a new commissioner and has asked for an opportunity to work on this, I think we should show her our support and tell the department that we're looking to provide stability and that we have their best interests in heart.
Mr. Akers.
First of all, and you can't overstate this enough, is that legal stays intact. Legal doesn't change. The resolution actually adds 2 attorneys that can provide help in DSS legal. It provides the county attorney, which we know has extensive experience. If we recall, in January of 2020, when we actually got notification from the judge about how discombobulated legal was over there, that we sent our county attorney over there, and he spent the better part of 4 months, 3 months, 3.5 months, whatever. And he looked like he'd been through the ringer, but he did a tremendous job filing and the clerk part of it, the records keeping, everything was a mess. And the county attorney managed, and with the assistance of the assistant county attorney, they managed to clean that up and hand that over in an organized fashion. So We know that with new laws that are coming, that with the Family First Act, that additional help is actually needed. We had a request by DSS Legal in the summer, basically without notifying the county attorney, but by notifying the judge, and that's how we got word, was that matters of support would now be done by the county attorney. Surprise, surprise. So if that's not a call for help, I don't know what is. And we took on that matters. As a matter of fact, this board actually went further than that. We passed a resolution on December 7th that said that matters of support would be under the office of the county attorney. What surprised me was a 180 degree of change from DSS Legal, which actually informed the judge that the county attorney would be doing this, but yet when we decided to put it under the county attorney's office, there was pushback. That's a mystery to me. The metrics, I think, to answer Ms. Terminelli, would be that in 6 months' time to a year's time, that we have less children in our care. I think that would be the most objective. Those are the high costs, the foster care, the institutionalized care. Those are the two matters that are costing the taxpayers of this county a tremendous amount of money, and those numbers are escalating. Many counties have an opioid problem. I think St. Lawrence County is a little on the higher end as far as our methamphetamine, and that may be a large part of what the problem is. And as Mr. Reagan had said, maybe the addition of another family court judge would be helpful. But my expectation and my support of this resolution is it adds two experienced attorneys to the legal department. And that I expect that will be very helpful in actually bringing those numbers down. I will be supporting the resolution.
Okay, Mr. Smithers.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank Legislator Terminelli for that question about evaluation, because that was on my mind also. And I'd like to pursue that just a little bit, because I think you're leaving out a person who I think would be involved in a county administrator, and she hasn't had a chance. I would think that you work closely together with Cindy, and you would keep the board apprised as time goes on of whether this is working or not. Is that not true? I mean, you'd be an important part of evaluating that.
Go ahead.
Can I speak to that?
Yes.
One of the things I mentioned to you probably 2 months ago now, at least a month, was that Cindy and I were taking a look at the monthly statistics that you get, which are in Google Drive, that are provided to you routinely, to try and make better sense of them, to try and make, beyond this specific issue, but in general terms, provide better information that's relevant to the Board of Legislators. I think this can be added to that, as has been discussed, about kids in care, about other metrics, also taking into account Family First. Cindy's worked hard to get up to speed on what Family First will require. That has some different deadlines that I think also will have an impact on the court system, or an impact on our staff because of the court deadlines. And those are things that we could measure and provide an update on as well.
Go ahead, Tony Arkle.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Most of Chairman Lightfoot's responses, I thought, in my opinion, to some of the questions that were posed, kind of circled around the legal department. There was problems that he indicated that may or may not exist, but they didn't seem to point towards the legal department. And Mr. Akers' comments, although correct, and again, I'm with Dave, and as far as I believe in Steve Button. This isn't about Steve Button for me. But most of all of Mr. Akers' comments were prior to this team that is in place now, that is the focus of my support. So again, I implore my colleagues, this is a team that was formed beyond the arguments that Mr. Akers just posed. Thank you.
I would like to respond to that, Mr. Arkle. I say the team is still going to be the team. It's just going to be operating out of the legal department under the supervision of our county attorney. Nobody's going anywhere. It's still the same team. There is no change in attorneys. It's going to be, as far as I know, these attorneys' positions are going to be offered to them over in the other departments. And they're still going to be working in the Department of Social Services. Go ahead, Mr. Burke.
So since the chairman has enlightened us, I guess I would ask the question, if everything is going to stay the same, why are we doing this? What's the reason? And you know, we've danced around this now for probably at least 3 different meetings. Probably the best answer that I've heard was what Joe gave, and that's that there's a problem with Child Protective Service, which has nothing to do with the legal department. I guess I'm going to ask the question one more time for all of our benefit. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Is there any rational reason to do this?
I could just tell you what I've said at the last meeting we had at the Finance Committee meeting and at this meeting. We're doing this because, in my opinion, the reason I'm going to vote for this resolution is because I want the Commissioner of Social Services, who has her hands full over there with that big department with all of its issues that may be coming up with the Family First things coming up. I want her to be dealing with the employees over there who, with all the different divisions she's got to overlook, and to focus on them and running that department, and having the legal department, which is another whole ball of wax, headed up by a gentleman who's got an awful lot of experience as an attorney to manage attorneys and to help out from that perspective. That's why that I'm going to vote for it.
Well, all I would say, Chairman, is that shouldn't we wait until she asks for help? Shouldn't we wait? You know, I heard Joe say earlier, we don't want to micromanage. Well, what do you call this? What do you call this? If it's not micromanaging, what do you call it?
Decisions have been made on this board many years, Mr. Burke, without the department heads giving the legislators the okay on our policy that we make on behalf of the taxpayers. Go ahead, Mr. Burke.
I've received quite a few emails, probably roughly half for and half against. The ones against it think that it's a punishment, that we're moving the DSS legal. I don't see it that way. I see it as trying to give support. The other half, they were thanking because they want the help. The department, since July 29th, has been coming and asking for help through different ways. We were going to have the contract with the county attorney, but the percentages seem to be not what they should be. They were going to be down to 61% versus 81%. If the county attorney's office takes it over, it'll be at the full 81%. Plus they're getting the reliable extra staff to help, the support. And really it's about the children, helping all these children to have a faster path to be in an environment that's safe and nurturing. And the DSS has said they need help because the situation is in peril. And just at the services committee meeting last month, the commissioner stated, I quote, that more resources are needed in legal so that they can spend more time with the children and their family. To me, it's a cry for help. I don't see it any other way than giving them the support, the extra support that they need. It's not taking away from anybody. I think everybody's doing a good job. I mean, they're dedicated staff. They go through a lot of emotional things that many of us couldn't do. So I can't take that away from them, but I see it as giving this extra staff to help them get through the crises they have and put the children back in safe environments. That's where I'm seeing it. It's not a punishment. I don't see it as a punishment.
Any more discussion?
Call the question.
Yes, on the question.
Call question, okay.
I had my
Question
hand
called.
raised. I had my hand raised before you called the question.
Mr. Burke, you spoke more than twice tonight.
That's not your prerogative to end the
And this
discussion.
is my comment, Mr. Burke.
Oh, is it?
Question's been called.
Roll call, please.
Roll call on the question being called. All in favor of calling the question?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Calling the question. I see 4 people opposed to calling the question. Does anyone count it different than me?
Nope.
4 people. So that means oh, you're not voting. The motion to close debate is won. So the debate is closed. Is there a motion to continue?
Point of order, Mr. Chairman, there is the motion, the resolution is on the table.
Okay.
We need to vote on, it, sir.
Okay. All right. Is there a motion? Who's made the
Roll
motion
call,
on
please.
Roll call vote.
Just a vote.
Roll call vote.
Lightfoot,
Yes.
Sheridan,
Yes.
Smithers,
Yes.
Denisha,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Akers,
Yes.
Bay,
Yes.
Haggard,
Recuse?
No.
Piacco, Burke,
No.
Arquette,
No.
Terminelli,
No.
Curran,
Yes.
Reagan,
No.
Forsythe,
No.
8 yes, 6 no, 1 abstain.
Resolution carried. Mr. Akers.
Okay. Just a minute, Mr. Chairman, I've got my computer is shut off. Just, thank you. Resolution I'd like to bring forth is adopting the proposed local law for the year 2021, a local law reestablishing the St. Lawrence County multi-use recreational trail system and establishing a trail permitting process. I would, I believe I would move to table this, and I'd like to confer with Mr. Arquette about this.
Mr. Arquette, go ahead.
You just seconded.
Second.
Will you second it? Second the table it?
Okay, all right.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded to table. Any more discussion on that?
No discussion.
All in favor? Discussion? Go ahead, Mr. Arquette.
No discussion.
No, there's no discussion on the table.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you.
Mr. Burke. Go ahead, Mr. Burke.
I didn't know that I was on the agenda. I apologize.
Is it,
I can do it if you want me to.
well, Ms. Kern do it? Go ahead, Ms. Kern.
I have a resolution authorizing the filling of vacancies according to the list below.
Okay, is there a second? Mr. Denisha seconds it. Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Mr. Denisha.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I offer a resolution transferring environmental easement to the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation over a portion of the former J&L site in
Second by Mr. Akins and Mr. Lightfoot and Ms. Kern. Any discussion? No discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Mr. Terminelli.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I offer a resolution accepting the Hershey's Heartwarming Young Heroes Global Youth Service Day, GYSD grant from Youth Service America and modifying the 2021 budget for the Youth Bureau and move for its adoption.
Move, seconded by Ms. Kern. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed?
Roll call.
Roll call?
Yes.
Let's do a roll call vote.
Sheridan,
Yes.
Smithers,
Yes.
Denisha,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Akers,
Yes.
Hay,
Yes.
Haggard,
Yes.
Piaco,
Yes.
Burke,
Yes.
Arquette,
Yes.
Terminal,
Yes.
Curran,
Yes.
Reagan,
Yes.
Yes.
Lightfoot,
Yes.
15 yes.
Motion carries. County Administrator's report. Ruth?
Just a few items to update you on this evening. With regard to COVID-19, last week, as you saw in the numbers presented by Jolene, we've seen an increase in the daily cases, and wanted to mention to you that 1 year ago this Thursday, COVID took the first of the 94 lives associated with COVID or the coronavirus COVID-19. This week, we will have 302 at this point appointments available at the Ogdensburg Golden Dome. So spread the word as you could. We certainly are trying all means possible to get the information out. A couple of weeks ago, we launched a wait list, and at this point, there are 577 names on the wait list. Overall, so far, 649 people have taken advantage of signing up for that wait list. Each of those folks have received contact with the upcoming clinics that either it doesn't fit their schedule or maybe they've already received vaccine. There's a wide variety of reasons why they may be on the wait list, but may not necessarily need an appointment. So we're working through that, but that does give us a good resource if at the end of the day, or like I mentioned with the vast number of appointments, we are able to see and get a hold of folks who could come in. The idea is to use as much vaccine as possible and have to not have to reallocate to any other folks, because many counties are having the same struggle that we are. We are pleased, certainly, with the expanded eligibility. As Jolene mentioned, tomorrow, I believe it, for all practical purposes, is wide open for anybody who would like a vaccine, but we still have challenging days ahead. As mentioned, we're working on the college population, knowing that much of the North Country has headed south for vacation. We certainly hope to get more of the college population. We should be receiving our first Johnson & Johnson this week, and that's targeted for the homebound. And there was a challenge to identify those who were homebound, to get that agency, Governor Rescue Squad and others signed up to be a provider that could take the vaccine. And now we're also looking at the potential of having a public health staff member be able to also, much like the days when we did home care, be able to go in and do those vaccinations if we're able to do that. So looking at all the creative ways possible to provide vaccine. We do await updates from New York State Department of Health regarding the schools. As many of you may have seen last Friday, they did adopt the no quarantine for domestic travel. As we previously discussed, April 21st, we will complete our 50% working in the office and 50% working from home. All employees will be returned, and our hope is that by May, we will be able to welcome the public back. I know there's an interest on all fronts, up to and including the DMV. So we're certainly hoping we're going to continue to watch those case numbers and certainly those hospitalizations, as we have watched the cases all along for that purpose. Moving on to an update from Highway. Requested that I share with you this evening that the New York State Department of Transportation has requested that we include information about the public being able to comment until April 30th on the County Route 35 Slab City Bridge Replacement Project. and information was mailed, I believe, to a 1.5 mile radius around the project. Normally, what occurs is a public meeting where folks can come in, they hear an explanation of the project, and for COVID reasons, they are not doing that at this time. However, we want to make sure it will be on our website, as well as written comments can be accepted until April 30th. I did want to mention to you that there was one transfer of funds since the last time I reported out, $94.86 in shredding for human resources. Tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock, the Vacancy Review Committee will meet. There are 16 positions to be considered tomorrow. And overall, certainly I've been doing this with department heads, but to give legislators an idea as well, currently excluding those positions just created, there are 31 positions vacant out of the 808 in the organization. On Thursday, we hope we'll be planning the search committee for the public health director will meet. Our hope is that we'll be able to take a look at the advertisement, have a conversation about how to proceed with advertising locally, whether to bring a recommendation back to the board for the services of a recruiter, and how we want to proceed. That would provide an opportunity, if actions needed by the board from a funding perspective, that we could do that this month. Next week, there is no meeting. Our services and operations will take place on the 19th, and I believe that the Chamber of Commerce will be joining us on that day. Services happens first that evening, so I've got a request from Legislator Haggard to have them join us. So that will occur on the 19th. I would like to request a Buildings and Grounds Committee meeting at 4:30 that day. I'll confirm with everyone on the committee's schedules. We could do that meeting by Zoom if it's more convenient, on the 19th at 4:30. So you'll see an email this week on that. Then we have the Finance Committee meeting. You'll hear the financial update for the first quarter, and that'll be on the 26th. And my hope is also that the Audit Committee could meet on the 26th at 4:30. We'll be able to look at the first quarter reports as well. I will take a look at getting the Rheonics totals that was discussed tonight. My understanding, at least from the health system, was all of their testing was going to be completed on those machines, but we'll find out totals and bring those to you. And lastly, St. Lawrence County was selected to participate in a wage compensation study. So we'll be surveying our employees this week to provide for the Civil Service Commission. So we're hopeful that that'll provide some good information, and we'll certainly share that back with you once New York State's taken a look at it. Any questions?
Go ahead, Ms. Haggard.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Two things, Ruth. First of all, when you're talking about the COVID vaccine numbers,
yes,
I thought Jolene said, and it was my understanding that the college kids didn't go on spring break.
Correct. And their hope is to vaccinate them this week.
This week?
Yes.
Okay, so
yes.
Have you done an outreach of some sort?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, to the 4 colleges, and I believe next week we are going to work with our often forgotten college down in Wanakena with Star Lake. So our hope is we can get work together with all those colleges. I believe that SUNY Potsdam is sending directly to Maxey Hall, but the rest of the colleges are looking to make sure they can get into the clinics.
Okay. And when we ask somebody, this is just a procedural thing, which I think you can answer. When we ask somebody to come into the county and do an assessment or fill in for a certain time, somebody like Mr. Zimmerman who's done stuff in the past, is that something that has to be brought to the board and approved?
Well, similar for the example that you provided, Mr. Zimmerman was brought forward to the board and approved to come back and assist on a part-time basis.
And is he still doing stuff when he moves from one department to the next? Are we apprised of that, or?
Well, the last time the board took action, I believe, was to have him assist at social services, and he's worked on some of the budget work after that. That's it.
Okay, thank you very much.
And I certainly am happy to provide a total of remuneration that was provided to him for that work as well.
Thank you.
Mr. Akers.
So Ruth, 2 of our machines, we have one machine, Rheonics machine at Claxton. The other one is where? Is it at the hospital, or do you know where the second one is?
I could find out. I believe that it's at the hospital.
So it may be hard to determine, but we should be able to determine the number of testing that we want in Claxton at the very least. We should be able to get that number.
Yes, I think so.
I would be interested.
I'll get it.
Thank you.
Okay. Any more questions, Ruth? Move on to old business. Mr. Reagan.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I just want to thank the Ruth and everyone for the ceremony tonight honoring people who risked their lives and our staff people who did such an outstanding job during an emergency. I would, however, like to, in the future, if instead of just a certificate, if we could give them plaques as a token of our esteem for them risking their lives and for what they're doing. I think it would be much more appropriate in keeping with the fact that these are heroes who risk their lives to save others. And I mentioned to the county administrator, and I would just like to go on record that I think that's a more appropriate way to recognize people who go above and beyond for us. And I hope that I would like to see us provide plaques to all of the people who were honored tonight, so that they have more than just a piece of paper to remember this important moment.
I'd like to second that. I think that's a great idea.
I do too. Maybe we can.
Go on.
You can do that.
Okay, Ruth?
Duly noted. Absolutely. I think that'd be great.
Thank you, Mr. Reagan. How about new business, Mr. Denisian?
Mr. Chairman, if everyone remembers, last year when the bridges there were two bridges that were shut down on the Jones Road, the west branch of the St. Regis, and we because that was part of the main part of the snowmobile trail for St. Lawrence County, we had two snowmobile ATV bridges, if you will, put in over the existing structure. The structures are going to be replaced this year. And so now we have the two snowmobile bridges that we had. We discussed it at our last Trails Committee meeting. Mr. Perkins, Mr. Sheridan, Mr. Arquette, and Mr. Chambers, actually. In regards to those bridges, those temporary bridges. And there will be a resolution at the Finance Committee meeting regarding reuse of one of those sections of bridge. And what it is, there's in 2014, there was a bridge over Elm Creek, which is up in Herman, actually Herman Russell. And it was part of the snowmobile trail. And the bridge was removed. So what we propose is using one of those segments from the Jonesville Bridge, moving it rather than storing it and setting it where the LaFavor Bridge is not. Because the bridge is in bad shape, it was taken out. The abutments are there. Well, it will involve Sheehan moving one of the sections, one of the segments, and resetting it with some incidentally work by county employees. But I think it's we've got the bridges. I think it's a very good use of them rather than storing them somewhere, taking them apart, and it will restore that section of the snowmobile trail. Mr. Arquette, one.
If that's in the form of a resolution, I'd like to second that.
Okay.
May I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Arquette, that will be I've got it just out for general information, but it will be included as a resolution at the finance committee meeting. But I think if you'd like to be sponsor or co-sponsor, that'd be great.
Good.
Appreciate it.
And if I could just add to that, Mr. Chairman, please, in our discussions, we talked about a couple of contractors in the area that we're potentially going to pursue for in-kind services on that project. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more new business? Okay, committee reports. Any committee reports tonight from anyone? Good. Oh, Mr. Denise, you've got a report?
Just a quick update, because we had our last extension meeting after our last board meeting. So, cooperative extension, we received funding from New York State Ag in the classroom to hire a dairy educator, deliver outreach and awareness program. The county's dairy industry is school students, kindergarten through 12, which was great. Moving forward with a new value-added processing, with some new value-added processing equipment in the Harvest Kitchen, including a commercial blancher, flash freezer, and walk-in, which will enable the development of frozen product lines for the county's farm to school program. And BOCES Ag Studies Academy is a good enrollment, is set to continue in 2021 to 22 school year. Program is run in person 5 days a week this past year in farm day camp. This is really cool. Farm day camp filled in 2 weeks. And we've got a waiting list for the summer of 2021. As you know, we couldn't have it last year. We were concerned whether, what the participation interest would be this year. And all the available slots are full, and we've got a waiting list. So good news.
Thank you. Any other committee reports? Okay, is there a need to go into executive session?
Mr.
Yes.
Chairman, sorry.
Yeah.
I tried to wave and flag. No, I don't want to give a full committee update, but I'm sure you all saw that Rebecca, the secretary at the Youth Bureau, sent out an email today, just updating everybody about the Trash Dash, also known as an Adopt a Highway type of event that will be going on. It's being hosted by the Youth Bureau in partnership with Weights and Measures, the Highway Department, and Solid Waste. April 24th and 25th in 5 different locations across the county, Messina, Ogdensburg, Gouverneur, Canton, and Potsdam. And they are hoping to secure some adult volunteers that will be kind of like safety advisors. So if any of the legislators are interested, please respond back to Rebecca's email and let her know if you're willing to serve in that capacity for that. And we're hoping to have a fantastic turnout to clean up our county highways on those 2 days.
Thank you, Nicole. Okay. Now we're all set. Go ahead.
We do. We have appointments.
Appointments. Okay. We need a motion to go into executive session.
Motion to go into executive session. Second.
Second by Mr. Smithers. All those, okay.
And just give us a moment to go back online, please.
Okay. You got the number, you got the names down, Joe?
Yeah, I'll have to get Gary's sheet again. There you go. I think you should.
It's gonna be a perfect place for us. Mr. Lightfoot.
You all set? Okay. The following appointments from the Services Committee. Community Services Board, Ryan B. Shaw, Sparrowhawk Point Road, Lisbon, expiring 12/31/24. To the ASA Subcommittee, Courtney Frank, Ashbury Place, Messina,
Sheena Smith, State Highway 37, Waddington. Courtney Toms, West Orbit Street, Messina. The term expiring 12/31/24.
Everything okay with those people? Fine.
In the office of the Mental Health Subcommittee, Brenda Moulton, Noyes Road, Potsdam. Kathy Connor, Post Office Box in Brownville, New York. David Nelson, County Route 25, Canton. Amy Richardson, Front Street, Rensselaer Falls. The terms for those four expire 12/31/24. The Office for the Aging Advisory Council, Brenda Sanderson, Maple Street, Herman, New York, expiring 5/3/25. Youth Advisory Board, Jenna Ellinger, Owens Road, Adams Center. Alania Goodrich, Green Meadows Road, Winthrop. Maddie Lamaglio, Morgan Road, Potsdam. Isabel Vaccaro, State Highway 56, Colton.
Okay.
Okay.
Any issues? Okay.
Reappointments to the Community Services Board, Mary K. Jones, County Route 59, Potsdam, and Courtney Toms, West Orvis Street, Messina. Those terms expire 12/31/24. And to the St. Lawrence County Traffic Safety Board, Richard McDougall, a post office box address in Madrid, New York. That term expires April 30th, 2023.
Thank you, Mr. Lightfoot. Mr. Akers.
For reappointments to the Community Services Board, I offer Mary K. For appointment to St. Lawrence County Workforce Development Board for a term to expire April of 2024, I offer Kendra Martin. And for reappointments to the St. Lawrence County Workforce Development Board for a term to expire in March of 24, Ruth Doyle. And to the St. Lawrence County Ethics Board to term to expire 12/31/2021, Dave Horning. I'd move those positions.
All in favor of those positions?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Move to adjourn?